Welcome to Your Signal podcast, where we explore the stories, turning points, and defining moments that shape a person's work and purpose and the signal that moves them to make a difference in the world.
Because at every moment we are guided by signals within us and around us. And when those signals are clear, aligned, and in harmony, we don't just move through life, we step into it with purpose, energy, and the ability to truly amplify our brilliance.
Linda, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
And you are a remarkable woman with many talents. Not only are you an accomplished musician, a pianist, a choral conductor, you are highly experienced in such a beautiful field, in the field of energy work. And you teach this to others, and you are in the holistic health and healing space. Tell us, how did that all transform in your life? What was your signal? What was your pathway? What's your story?
Okay, I'll tell you the thumbnail version. And thanks so much for inviting me. This is fun. I'm really happy to be here. So once upon a time, 7 years old, Linda got to start piano lessons. And and I wasn't begging for piano lessons, but I know I had it in my mind that I needed to do something. And I was good at it. And I had I was very, very shy. I was very smart and very shy, and I didn't have any social interaction hardly at all. But with the music, that fixed it. I could play with an orchestra. I played with choirs. I sang in choirs. I that was my life all the way through school time growing up, and then already in university, I'm still into music, and not only was I playing piano, I was playing double bass, the great big one. So I was
Yep.
playing orchestras and I'm accompanying all these instruments. And it was a fabulous way to grow up through life, is to have that wonderful connection with people.
And
Especially,
it started with the piano, right? It seems to me that's the way we start, because I'm a musician too.
yeah.
And you started with the piano. We all got piano lessons and then found our way. You was a orchestral musician and
Mhm.
choral conducting, and I played the flute. But I think you're so observant that shy people can really express themselves. Have you found that through music?
Mhm. Mhm. And shy people aren't necessarily feeling bad because they're not out playing with their friends. And they're
Yeah.
not feeling bad. I mean, I never felt bad because I wasn't out playing sports because it was the absolute last thing I wanted to do. I
Yeah.
I didn't like PE in school until we did things like archery and a little bit of gymnastics, which was, solo things and learning about myself. That I could relate to. Team sports, ooh, made me nervous.
And yet you could play the same line over and over again, always trying to perfect it in your room with four walls and your instrument, right? And you're just the happiest person um, expressing yourself. So yeah. So at one point you shifted into energy. Let's hear about that, the energy work.
Well, um, let's see. I graduated. I was in university in Ohio, and then I went down to Texas, and I was at University
For
Texas
for
in
music,
Austin.
for music, were you
Music.
studying music?
Yep,
Okay, cool.
yep. Still
Cool.
studying music, and I just started getting more interested in alternative things. Things popped up. Silva mind control popped up. I don't know how I heard about it. I just heard about it,
Say
and
that again.
Silva mind control.
Okay.
So we were learning about brain waves, alpha waves, and theta and beta, and different ways to relax, and interesting things to do with the mind. Um, and that was really my first energy foray, but it just went on from there. Um,
Hmm.
I After Texas, I moved back to Boston because the piano teacher I wanted to follow went up to Boston. And I often went to hear the Boston Symphony Orchestra concerts Friday afternoon if you came at quarter to concert time, you could get a $5 ticket. So I did.
Oh, musicians know all those tricks, right?
You know those things and you take
Yeah,
advantage of them. That's right.
for sure. And then the
And
reception.
and I noticed many times in those concerts, I would just be very settled and relaxed and listening, and the palms of my hands would be like buzzing. And it's
Oh.
just something I observed, and I didn't know anything to make of it, but I noticed that. And at one point during that period of time, a friend, I was talking to somebody on the phone, and he mentioned there was going to be a class instructing people in Reiki healing and with
Mhm.
energy healing with the hands. This is the first time Reiki had been taught in the Boston area ever. We're going back to probably the 70s. And I thought, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I do know my hands buzz when I listen to music. So sure, teach me about this. So it was like that. It was kind of organically, things moved along, things moved along. Then I had a chance to take some piano study, advanced piano study, with a man who was on the music faculty at MIT. MIT, a big technical school, does have a music department. Not music degrees, but there's a music department. I met up with this fellow who was teaching piano there. I studied with him privately. He brought somebody to Boston who he was studying with. He was a psychiatrist who had left psychiatry. His name was John Diamond, and he was teaching something called behavioral kinesiology. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
since my piano teacher was sponsoring Diamond coming up to teach little workshops around MIT, so that was the obvious place for me to go next, is to
Mm-hmm.
take those workshops, and that totally clicked with me. I went very intensive into that work. It was 4 or 5 years. Every couple of months I was back. I lived in the Boston area. I would drive down to just north of New York City every 2 or 3 months for private sessions, for workshops. And
Mm.
um, and at some point, I'm talking to Dr. Diamond. I'm saying, I really want to teach this work, and here's what I'm thinking. And he says, yeah, yeah, do whatever you want. Okay, we have work to do. So he had no interest in teaching teachers. Um,
Teaching teachers. Mm-hmm.
so I started making up classes based on what I had learned.
Ah, so you created your own classes.
I started doing little living room classes and showing people the effect of energy.
So
And
is
that
that frequencies that you're dealing with, talking about? You're addressing frequencies, or how could you, what are you doing in a nutshell?
Well, if you think about acupuncture or the whole acupuncture tradition is built on a system of energy pathways in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm talking the kind of energy that courses through the meridian pathways.
Right.
And I learned some
Fascinating.
things from Diamond that different energy pathways carry different emotional aspects to them. And I learned this thing that was fascinating that I could show people. We did this wonderful little demo. I would take one person who was willing to be the guinea pig, and they had to go out of the room. And I told the group, 6 or 8 people, I said, okay, when Susie comes back, you're all going to just beam grumpy energy towards her.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, Susie, come on back. They'd beam energy towards her. We did a kind of muscle energy checking, and we would
Mm-hmm.
check her energy. And oh, she couldn't hold her arm up because that energy was just drained her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, that's very interesting. Okay, Susie, come on, we're going back out in that other room, and we'll be right back. And I went out with Susie and I said, Susie, now this is your job. We don't care what energy they're holding. You are going to hold the energy of love towards these people, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how misguided they might be. You're going to stay centered in love. She said, okay. So we went back. I said, okay, people, send what you were sending before, and they did. And she just stood, she was standing, she stood solid in holding her heart open, holding energy, and you couldn't budge her arm. Her energy was very high.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So do you
So,
teach others to hold a higher energy? Is that what's the would the one of the goals?
Well, let's put it this way. That became um, a really guiding force in the way I use my own music. That as far
I
as
see.
I'm concerned, if I'm sharing music and there are other, even if there aren't other people in the room, if I'm sharing music into the world, um, it's got to be high energy music. It's got to be based on that spirit of love and compassion and
Hmm.
healing energy. So that really became a very, very big underpinning for the way I do music.
And so the two came together, your two professions, your music
Yeah,
and your energy work.
yeah, yeah.
That, yes. And so is that will depend which choral pieces you choose or the literature on the piano you're teaching your students.
It,
Um,
it doesn't even matter what you choose. It matters how you approach it. And,
okay, I get it. Yes. I want to ask you about how did you get involved with redox? Where does that fit in?
mm,
Um, and what are you have been studying certain aspects of research, the research of redox research,
mhm.
as I understand.
At least
Can
a
you
little
share
bit.
that?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
sure. Well,
Why redox? Like you're a musician and you're an energy worker.
mhm. Well, and already a quick history, already late teen years, I started studying nutrition. I don't know why I did. Um, that was going along. I learned how to make bread. Da, 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 da. My late 20s, my dad got cancer and passed away. That
Mm,
was a major, major shock in my life. Um, and I saw what was going on in the way the medical people worked with my father. And I said, this is criminal. What's going on here? And that was the beginning of my really, really going strong into holistic energy wherever I found it and said, what's real here? That,
what's real exactly?
yeah,
Best question.
yeah. So so that just became another guiding force in my life. What's true? Because I can see there are some things that are generally believed that aren't true.
Correct.
So that's carried through in a lot of my point of view in life these days. So there I am with this health work, and fast forward to after I left the husband, my husband about 20 years ago, I left the man I was with and I was on my own. I'm Linda the musician in a place I didn't have a lot of grounding in because I had moved to his location. And okay, and so I've got to make a living for myself and blah,
Mm,
blah, blah, blah. And I came across network marketing.
yay.
And it was
Tell us.
fascinating to me. And the first company, the education was fabulous. This is going to sound like Goldilocks. The first company, we sold long distance phone service. That was nothing to my passion, but the training was stupendous. So that was okay, but that wasn't good enough. So then it was another company that had a holistic product, but they never talked about their business. And I said, but I do want to learn how to make some money with this. So I left that company and I
You want
found
some
another.
balance, right? Passion and profit.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened when Joanne, when you and I met, I was with company number three that had a stupendous product, but the business just the community ethic, it didn't really exist, and it was out
Hmm.
of balance. And I wasn't quite ready to leave when we first met. And bless your heart, you called me back. I don't know, a few months later, 6 months, whatever. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm open to consider something. So I paid attention when you said more about redox, and I said, well, okay, let me learn about it because I can be really good at deliberating over something for a good long time.
Yes,
So
you are a learner.
I am,
Definitely.
and I don't necessarily change on a dime. So I think it was like February that you introduced me to it, and I started listening to workshops and calls and learning. And April, I started using the products myself, and bit by bit, it took quite a while before I saw results because I was already really in good shape. And the things that
Hmm.
that were powerful changes for me. They took longer because it just took a while for the redox to work up so it could handle those kind of deep-seated things that hadn't been handled by other channels yet.
Yes, cells were getting the messages.
Yeah.
Tell us about your latest kind of passion in research with the
Yeah.
redox.
Well, you see, so once I understood it and I was using it and I saw what was going on with this community around the redox, I said, this is the most supportive, ethically minded, friendly community I have ever seen. And they have a
I have to
product.
agree. Giovanna, too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, most definitely.
the community's amazing. And the product is farther out there than any other product that I've ever heard of, because basically we're not on the map yet. Nobody knows what redox is.
Hmm.
So the thing that made me get kind of fascinated about this website called PubMed, so PubMed, medical publications. There's this
PubMed
dot
dot.
gov.
So
So
it's a government website, is that correct?
it's a government website, and I will just quickly
Are
open
you
up
going to
my.
share?
I'm going
Ah,
to share so
whoa.
you can see PubMed. Have we got it? That's the screen I want, people. So
Yep,
tell
we're
me when
starting to
it
see your
comes up
screen.
for you.
So you're taking us to pubmed.gov, which
So here we
is,
are,
Almost,
PubMed.gov
it hasn't
is,
almost.
opened yet.
you
You
can
want to
kind
double
of
click.
see from the link here.
There
It's
we
There we
it's a
go.
go.
big, it's a it's National Library medical publications. It's hosted by the National Institutes of Health in the
The
USA.
NIH. Good.
Yeah, the NIH, and they just have. You can go into to their. I wonder if I can do this. Well, I'm not going to push that button just in case it goes someplace cuckoo. But when you
Okay.
first go to the site, there's just a search bar. So in the search bar, I typed redox signaling. And when I typed redox signaling,
Hmm.
here it is. It's National Center for Biotechnology Information.
Okay.
That's what we've got here. So, and they take this information from all over the place. But
And
this is
this is open to anyone, right? It's a public site. Is that right,
public
Linda?
site. Anybody can go here and
Good.
have a good time playing
And,
around.
and what's it useful for research, right? For what do you type in redox signaling?
Well, I'll show you a couple things. Partly,
Fantastic.
partly I like to go here and I like to share it with other people because, for example, one of my piano students is an 85-year-old retired pediatrician. She's a devoted medical person. And when I gave her a little sheet that I had that called attention to the amount of research that's going on in this website on redox, she read that thing from top to bottom before she looked up.
Uh-huh.
It got her attention.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people, the kind of scientific, university trained type people, they want to see data. They want, well, is there anything behind this stuff, or are you just some other flaky whatever that you made up this goofy thing because you want to make money?
Hmm.
So there are some people that I like to be able to lead with introducing them to what's going on in PubMed, because that is like it's a door opener.
So you
Just
use it as a door opener. What is that what is that graph there? 19, what is it,
oh,
53?
I'm glad you asked. I'm not a real sciencey person or research person, but I love this picture. So here we have a little graph, and you can see they started recording redox signaling studies in 1953. And right around here, there's 2000, 1999. It's hard to get. There we go.
Yep.
1998 was the year
It
when a
starts to
Nobel
spike
Prize
up.
was,
It starts to
yeah.
spike.
So right there, you can see, my goodness, why did it start going uphill so abruptly there? 1998 was when the Nobel Prize was awarded for a specific discovery around redox signaling molecules. So that Nobel Prize came out, and what you see here, my interpretation is people said, we're going to invest money in research about redox. So
Hmm.
that started.
And
And
look how high it is now,
I
spiking.
know now look at this. It's kind of interesting. So it's going along and it's going basically in an uphill climb, right? And if you just traced it up to here, which is the end of last year, the spike here, that's pretty much a curve. But you've got this big gully in here. As far as I'm concerned, that's what COVID did to the research.
I see. That's a good observation.
Okay, so there's
Hmm.
there's there's 2021, the research is still pretty strong.
Hmm.
22, it tanked. 23,
So,
22,
so
23. It,
before we close, Linda, can you give our listeners an idea of how they could use this powerful tool, PubMed.gov, for
mhm,
themselves? It's a public website. It's not just for doctors. Anyone has access to it. What's
yep,
a good way? What's your suggestion for using it for their own
sure.
benefit, increasing their own knowledge?
Sure. So what you can see here, this I brought up the spike for 2025. And if I clear that spike, look where 2026 is, and we're not even halfway through the year. If the posting continues on the same curve this year, 2026 is going to end up somewhere up here. It's huge. It's exploding. We're looking
It
at an area of science that's exploding right now. This is just, and as you can see, as of today, 48,367 articles and abstracts have been posted about redox signaling. Now, if I go, let's say, so my friend a couple days ago said, my husband has gout. Is can redox help his gout? I said, I don't know, but we could just, as a feeler, we could add redox signaling and gout.
All
And
right.
let's
Let's see what
let's see
happens. Real
let's see
life
what
test
happens.
here.
So I did that, and it's hunting. So here we go. So there's 39 results now, specifically in regards to redox and gout.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's very tailored, and you could put in redox and whatever it is you're curious about and see what it has to say. Do you want me to put in what's another word you'd like to research?
How about spectrum disorder?
Okay, let's see what it does. Ooh,
200 results. Oh, and
Pretty
there you have
good.
288. Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful. What
288.
about something most people, a lot of us have? How about inflammation or arthritis, something like that? Just
Okay.
the regular aches and pains of daily life.
I just want to point something out here. Look at the first article in the
Yes,
spectrum reports. It has
Right.
to
very
do with
telling.
NRF2 signaling,
Right.
and we could at ASEA we get pretty excited about NRF2 signaling because we've got a good solid double-blind study on it.
Yes.
Um,
Well, if somebody wants to see those studies, how would they reach out to you? How can people reach out to you to learn more about redox signaling, about PubMed, energy work, and maybe even playing the piano? Um, Tell us, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? Are
well,
you
what would
on
you like? Here's
Facebook or
here's
LinkedIn? What is the best way for you?
inflammation and redox signaling 5845 for
Oh, there
inflammation.
you go. That's like
Okay.
I don't think there's
Yeah.
a family in America that doesn't have at least one person with that kind of a challenge, right?
Very
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
So I'm going to
telling.
stop sharing
So
this so I
telling.
stop obsessing about it. So stop the
Yes.
share. So I just find it exciting to
It
have something
is.
that the mainstream people can't quibble about or turn up their nose at. This is just mainstream all the way.
This
Um,
is mainstream all the way. It's a possibly the most studied aspect in medical kind of science, health and medical science. I think at this time, right, is the redox signaling and all these avenues, oxidative stress and NRF2 and glutathione and genes, et cetera. It all comes together with the science study of redox.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I mean, with
Yes.
so much enthusiasm.
We need to know, how can we tell them, Linda, to get in touch with you? Your email, your LinkedIn, your Facebook page, tell them.
Well, I am so busy playing the piano and looking at PubMed that I really don't have much in terms of media, social media. I can give you an email address. How's that?
Yes, that would be great.
Do you want me to put it in the chat?
No, please
Yeah,
recite it.
and what we can do is when we post this episode, we can include some contact information for Linda. A true musician, it's just ideas and music and art and concepts coming together. But oh yeah, you want to get in touch with me? Totally understood. So,
and FYI, just on the shy child growing up, if you can believe that about me.
Yeah.
I was also loving being in the choir because I felt more anonymous, but
Sure.
I loved to sing so much that I've sang all throughout my life.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a similar testimonial.
beautiful.
Mhm.
And it's so
the
good for children growing up with music, right? For the brain development.
Yeah. And the amazing thing with a choir, I've been directing a church choir for many years, 10 to 20 people. And there's one or two good voices in the choir. Others are just voices. I mean, they're singing the right notes, but they're just voices. But when you hear the sound, if it's a cappella singing and I'm in front of the choir and I can hear them, it is such a rich, beautiful sound that comes out of that bunch of plain old voices.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a choir is one of the most beautiful things I think humans can do, come together and do is sing together.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
as we come to a
vibrational.
close,
That's why.
Yeah.
As we come to a close, Giovanna and I want to leave you with this thought about your signal and about the trillions of tiny signals that Linda's been talking about, redox signals in your cells, and they're being created every second.
Because of these signals, your cells know when something is damaged, where attention is needed, and how to begin repair and renewal. At every level of our being, we are living from signal to signal. Within the body, these are known as redox signals, part of the communication network that helps cells function, adapt, protect, and work together in harmony.
And when we begin to understand the role of redox signaling, and you can get in touch with Linda Clark because she knows, she'll show you on PubMed. So beautiful. The profound role of redox for our health, resilience, and longevity at a very, very foundational level. When we learned about it, in fact, all three of it, that became our signal to learn more, to explore more deeply, and ultimately to share with others. So we invite you to learn more about your signals for your health in our Wednesday Wellness Workshop, and we'll put the link in the chat below. Thank you for joining us and have a good evening.
Thank you, Linda.